ready?
Yeah.
Hold on. How do you look taller than me?
Posture. No, I think my camera is.
Oh, your chair. You're sitting on a high chair.
Yeah. I should have that little table tray. Or A. My hands aren't even
All right. Yeah. All right. Here we go.
Face thing.
Hello, Wes.
Hey, Phil. How are you?
Babe, never been better. How are you?
The springtime is in Nashville because you can hear.
You sound like you have two pillows stuffed up your nose.
The drainage
Do
is
you
real.
feel bad or?
No, I think I sound a lot more masculine.
Something's got to help. Something's got to help.
Can help. But man, I've been sneezing a lot. God, this is off to a really horrible start.
Yeah, you've really nailed it. Tell us about your medical problems.
In 83.
Oh, God. Wow.
No, my brother did hit me upside the head with a metal pipe. I'm not joking. At my great grandma's house. And
that explains a lot.
I don't remember it.
That surprises me too.
And he was like 3.
Oh. So, well, what's new with you, boo?
Oh my gosh. Pickleball's back, springtime.
Thank God. You've got something to do now.
Yeah. And I know you're excited to hear about the latest updates.
Could you put that in an email?
I will hold that.
Yeah, put that in an email. I'd love to delete that later.
I have to tell you a crazy work story.
Okay.
So we have this property. And if you live in a multifamily property, sometimes there's gates, sometimes they're not. They are not safety. They are not security. They are controlled access. That is it.
Yeah.
Do you understand that?
I do.
You get that?
Got it.
Some people don't. So we have a guy who has a blue check mark that lives at one of the properties.
Hold on. Blue check mark meaning he's
famous. Or
he's paid Instagram to.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, he tells us he's a celebrity.
He tells you.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm a celebrity.
You know that like Jason Baboa?
Oh, yeah.
He kind of looks like him. So attractive guy, whatever. Yeah. I'll give you the property.
Oh, my.
But anyway, he's like, God, I have a new movie out. I've directed it. Now I have fans stalking me. I need out of my lease because my address was leaked. Well, that's a personal problem. If you're that famous, I think maybe you can get security detail.
Yeah.
So there was a black car in his parking space because again, we leave the gate open during the day. So with that being said, I'm like, well, if he's got a blue check mark, I'm going to go search him out online. So Weston did so.
Oh, good.
So a guy who's concerned about a security gate is filming himself on January 6th, raiding the Capitol.
Stop.
Not joking.
Is that where he got the blue check from?
I'm sitting here and then he does a lot of stuff in the Capitol that is documented on his Instagram. And he's with 4,000 people or however many were rushing with the political guys' flags and torches and shit. So anyway, but yet he's scared about a gate that I could literally jump over, being 5'7". And
so he's scared about a random fan scaling a 3-foot gate, but he was not scared while storming the nation's capital and wreaking havoc on our nation.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. And now I'm thinking too, the car that was parked in your space that was blacked out with tinted windows might be the FBI.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Have
you checked your room yet for any agents?
Multifamily property investing and all that is never uneventful.
Yeah.
Just when you think you've heard it all, you haven't. So we've been talking.
How do I get a blue check mark?
There for a while, you could buy them.
Oh.
But I know people that have like 3,000 followers that have a blue check mark. I think it's about their content and what they do outside of social media.
Yeah.
It's not all about just your followers and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Fix this.
You're right over there?
Yeah. What have you been up to?
Girl.
Bro.
What's up? I just got back from Mexico City. First of all, I felt super ignorant because I thought Mexico City was this just random small, you see the movies, you see El Chapo and Narcos, and you're like, oh, it's poverty. It's a backwoods town. It's small.
Yeah. I think of Ozark and all the drug cartels. I would be so scared.
So stupid of me to think that. This place it's one of the coolest cities I've ever been to.
Wow.
Any idea how big it is? Guess population.
I'm going to say 1 million. Size of Nashville.
Okay. It is 20 million people.
20. That's bigger than Chicago, dude.
There are 7 million people in Tennessee. There's 20 million people in Mexico City.
Oh, how
Yeah.
did that feel?
I mean, as you're landing,
I
it's
don't wanna be
like this
negative.
vast expanse of land and buildings and high rises. And I was like, where are we? What's going on? I mean, it's
Yeah.
stunning. Um,
Okay.
it was so much fun. Went down there for our friend Jesse's. He got married, and so we went down kind of a bachelor's party, celebrate Jesse. Super fun. I mean, it was good learning experience. Lots of culture, lots of food. Um, I would move there in a heartbeat. I fell in love several
Whoa,
times.
okay,
Several
okay.
times. Couple of oddities. One, there was a black guy on the trip named Antoine who we all adore, but I didn't realize that they would refer to him as Negra, Negra.
Oh, they would.
Yeah, which is
The
the word
locals.
black.
Yeah.
So can you imagine
Oh,
walking
so
down
that's
the
what they
street?
say.
You'd be walking down the street and
Oh.
you'd just hear Negra. And I
Wait,
was
was
like,
it
what?
derogatory for them or
No, there's
what?
nothing negative about it. It's like
They just call
it's
it
the way to describe a person who's black.
maybe
And it's has zero negative connotations.
it's kind of like they called it the Negro Leagues back in the day, the baseball.
Yeah.
So maybe it's still stuck in time down there.
It was just hard to get used to. You just,
Yeah.
we're so triggered by the N word
Mhm.
that when you hear something that even remotely sounds like it, I couldn't get
You
used to be like,
turn.
who? What'd you call him?
You were gonna beat some people
Oh,
up.
I was ready to beat some ass. Had great food, lots of dancing. I did a lot of this the whole
That is the
time, just like,
cha-cha.
I don't know what it was, but I was moving like a, I don't know, it was
They're like,
crazy.
that happens in Spain.
Yeah,
Philip,
yeah.
not
I got it wrong many times. But it was fun. We got seeing Jesse with all his friends was really special, and I was really moved by just the love and support that a group of people came together. We didn't know each other that well,
That's
and
neat.
everybody got along. We all, if somebody wants to go do something, we're all going. We all moved in a pack. It was just fun,
Oh,
super supportive, and just a
there
good
you go.
reminder to me of the importance of friends and putting the effort in to have a good friend group.
How many people went?
There were 6 total.
Okay. And you didn't really know.
I knew
some
some
of
of
the
them, but different levels. Like I know Jesse really well, and like Manny and Antoine I know, but I've only hung out a couple times.
Mhm.
And Obi, and then Michael was there.
Obi was there.
Obi,
Never heard of him.
oh,
But I do. I love
Obi.
that name.
Obi was
so
my
cute.
going out partner. Like we would go out, and I'm like, babe, don't leave me. I was convinced I was going to get kidnapped.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was
happens.
my family was convinced. I have a history of being mugged in foreign countries.
2 times on one trip.
2 times in one trip, one
Yeah.
time in Italy. So there was a huge fear of that. And so the first night I was very uneasy, and I kept my wallet in my front pants,
Mhm.
like in my underwear.
Oh wow.
So can you imagine
Yeah.
after a few drinks trying to get my wallet out? It looked like I was
Yeah,
masturbating.
what are you doing
Just
after?
like what's going on down
Yeah.
there?
Okay.
But so fun. I was very grateful for the trip, and I think everybody should go to Mexico City. And I've got to go back and find my husband Jorge, who works at Baby Bar.
I think that can stop a stereotype, because I I've been to Cancun, Cozumel. We go to the beach touristy places, but anything inland, I always thought was like Ozark cartels.
No.
You're going to get mugged.
The
Natalie Holloway.
The largest number of museums in the Americas is in Mexico City, second only to London. I mean, they have a significant number of
Wow, okay.
cultural options. The food, we went to this restaurant, a Michelin star restaurant called Pujol, which is a bucket list thing for me. I love food.
Like your food.
And it's one of these where it's like, it's a 7-hour experience. There's snacks being brought in and pumpkins that blow up, and you're just like, what's happening in here? So there's that, but all the way back down to like street food, dollar tacos, that are just the most amazing tacos you could eat. So,
ooh. When we were kids, my grandparents lived in Phoenix. So we would drive across the border, and you could buy like rugs and lamps. I mean, medicine. I mean, people were known to go over there, get all your Tylenol stuff for like the year, and we'd drive back.
Yeah.
And that was a different day. That was the late 80s. So you would just drive across, I think Tijuana or something.
Oh,
like
yeah.
that.
Oh,
And then you get over there and come back, and it's just a day trip.
you know what the average height is in Mexico City?
I'm about 5'3.5".
No, 5'7".
Dang. So I'm average.
Your average height there.
I'm really small here.
But keep that in mind as we're in a bar and I'm 6'2". I look like I stuck out like a pale thumb.
You were like they're like, oh, that guy plays in the NBA.
No, they were just like, what is this? It looked like the eclipse, like this pale structure moving through dark people. And it was strange because I could see everything. I'm just like, oh,
yeah, you had a good view.
I had a great view.
Okay, so when we meet people when we're out downtown on Broadway, and we're very, hey, where are you from? And then you do your great question asking. Did that happen there with the locals?
Some part of it was I was a little not embarrassed, but like I didn't speak the language well. And so I didn't want to assume that they would speak English to me. So I had my Google Translate and I'm like humor doesn't translate sometimes. So you're like trying to be funny on a Google Translate and they're like, what does that mean? But super friendly. And I was mentioning this to Jesse, like, I don't know why I felt so much more comfortable going out in Mexico City and gay bars than I do here in Nashville. Not comfortable as in safe, but just a friendly, much friendlier environment. Everyone's willing to talk. It didn't seem to be as judgmental. There weren't cliques. It was just
oh wow.
I felt super comfortable there.
Okay.
So guys, I want to announce I'm moving to Mexico City tonight.
2 Bottle Deep going international.
Right.
We have some international shows coming up, which are exciting.
We do.
But now maybe you'll live internationally.
I would love to. You come visit?
Is that far from the beach? Is it like in the middle of the country?
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, don't know how far. I know the basics. Yeah. I know where the pyramids are and where
they have pyramids there.
Yes, babe. I'm not saying it in a judgmental way because I didn't know this until I started.
Mayan ruins.
Yeah, it's I don't know if it's Mayan. There's Mayan and Aztec, but one of those ruins, gorgeous.
So much to learn. I feel like we did learn that in like 3rd grade.
Yeah,
but it's been a while. But you say you got mugged in Italy, but you felt safe in Mexico City. This just tells us to open our minds.
Absolutely.
You never know what you see on the news. You never know what you've been taught. You learn and stuff like that. So,
well, I think seeing Americans in anywhere, it can be super annoying. Just like the demanding that they speak English, we're so loud. Like I'd be in a gift shop in a museum and this like American couples just having a whole conversation across and people are like, what are you doing? Just like calm down, settle down.
Yeah.
But
we think we're right and perfect in this world or in this country, right?
Yes.
I don't really think we are. We got a lot to learn. Honey. And that's the benefit of traveling, to see how other cultures are and too how they perceive us and how can we be better? How can I be better? I'm a loud person. So maybe I gotta
You're not that loud
down in the gift shop.
You're not that loud.
My family is known to talk loud. And I've taught myself not to do that, in a way. So
you know what I'm not good at is math. I couldn't figure out the exchange rate situation. Jesse's like, it's real simple, Philip. Just divide everything by 17. I'm like, what? I can barely divide by 10. So somebody would be like, I'm like, how much is this? Dude. This? And they're like 42,000 pesos. I'm like, is that $1.50 or is that $1 million? I don't know.
Yeah, I wish we could all be on like the same level.
Yeah, that would be really nice. Especially
so close.
At bars, babe. We'd get like bottle service, and I'm like, oh my God, we're so rich. We had bottle service. It was like $5. But then I'd be like sliding the guy that's helping us a 200 peso, and I'm like, just keep an eye on me for the night. And he's like, what? $4. What are you doing?
On me for the night, dude. Yeah, that's I've never like traveled like anywhere like that there's been an exchange rate. I mean, I've been to Mexico, but it was on resorts, so I guess I didn't need to.
Or you can use your card. I mean, that was the thing.
Really?
You can use your the exchange rate's a little different, I think, with credit cards.
Is there a time zone difference?
1 hour behind.
Well, that's not bad.
Yeah,
right down there.
Not bad at all.
I was gonna call, but I'm like, I don't know what day it is there.
You sound like my mother. I wanted to call you, but I thought you were busy. I'm like, that's why I have voicemail. Just call me.
Check in on Phil.
Oh me. Well, Nashville's had some interesting things going on since I've been gone.
Here's the thing: when Philip leaves this town, crazy stuff happens.
Music star Morgan Wallen was arrested. He allegedly threw a chair from the roof of a bar. This was in downtown Nashville last night. Arrest documents say a chair landed a few feet from police officers. Video footage shows Wallen throwing the chair. He was arrested and charged with reckless endangerment and disorderly conduct, but was released early this morning.
Okay.
Again.
Guess who's back in the news?
Shocker. I think Morgan Wallen, from what I just heard.
Yeah. So I guess he was at the new Bar Chiefs, which is
Eric
at the
Church.
very end of Broadway, across from, is it across from Underground?
Yeah, it's in that area.
Okay.
Like 3rd and Broadway.
And it's just open, right? Last time I was down on Broadway, it was not open.
When this happened, it opened. This happened Sunday. It opened Thursday. It was 3 days.
All right. So Morgan shows up at the bar and goes to the roof, and within 30 minutes has thrown a chair off the roof 6 floors up.
It's one of the tallest bars down there.
And lands a few feet from a Metro police car. Didn't hurt anybody, thank goodness.
Officers. There were 3 officers, 2 or 3 officers standing within 3 feet of that.
Yeah. So now he's saying that he didn't throw it. He's like, I didn't do it. He was pictured with an unidentified female. Looks like he was kissing her. And that she got upset and threw the chair instead. But yeah.
Okay. So this coming on, I don't know, like, his mind frame. There's a lot to unpack here. But he's caused other ruckuses at bars that has not made the news, as we talked about. He's made the news many times. I think it's all PR. I have my conspiracy theory self will go to, okay, they set this up. He's going to pay a little fine. He'll be off of it. Now, like, all the Morgan Wallen fans are going to go there because him and Eric Church have collaborated on stuff. So again, I'm going to set that aside because that did go through my head. But then another thing is, when you read these articles, George Jones, Johnny Cash, all the outlaws of country music in the 70s wreaked havoc on this city, and everywhere they went, they drunk drove, they ran over mailboxes and neighborhoods over here in Inglewood, here in East Nashville. And I'm sure, George Jones was arrested many, many times. So is this really any different?
I mean, I don't know if it's different. I just think there's a history with Morgan. He was previously arrested on public intoxication and disorderly conduct charges in 2020, issued an apology and charges were dropped. In 2021, he spent 30 days in a treatment facility after he was captured on video saying the N-word while drunk on a night out with friends. I talked about that maybe 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, we did.
So he's had multiple run-ins for being intoxicated. And then oddly enough, after that last incident with the N-word, his sales went up 1,220% after he was confirmed saying the N-word. And people were like, perfect. We really want that music now. We're good.
Yeah. And I think people want to support someone that may have made a mistake. You can go back and listen to that. Our views definitely have changed. I've always been a fan of him. So I saw him at a very small venue before he got big. I've liked his music. I've always liked George Jones. I was never a fan of Johnny Cash, but George Jones had a lot of problems. I mean, he shot guns at people. Like, this guy, at what point do you not support someone and then support them, right? Yeah. So if I support this, am I supporting his behavior? Not necessarily. It's kind of like a politician. Like we talked about that one guy, Glenn, or what was his name? Also,
yeah.
It's like, okay, I liked most of his bills, but I didn't like a part of it. I didn't like one thing of it. So is it like that with a celebrity? It's like, God, I really like his music, because he had just sold out like 2 or 3 nights at Indianapolis where the Colts play at whatever stadium that is, Lucas Oil Stadium. I mean, that's 60,000 seats, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy doesn't need any more PR. So I don't know. I just think he was out having fun. I mean, he almost killed 2 cops, but I think that's
hold on. But what's your view on this? Like, you're like, he's just out having fun?
No. That's my view on it. But I think the accountability part, like, you have to pay for your actions. So, if that was a normal bystander, and again, this happens, not so much chairs. I mean, there's been people that peed off of rooftops, because again, I could just step over a rooftop. It's not like there's all this glass barring us from jumping over the side. Right. I mean, anybody could throw their glass or ice over, or a straw or a body. So I think there's accountability, kind of like when he said the N-word. I think you have to go through this process to prove yourself. So the fines, the 3 felony accounts. I mean, if a chair lands on you, I mean, that could kill you.
Yeah.
And his supporters are the Back the Blue people. So if you really want to back the Blue here, you might still buy his music. You might still like his music. And there's going to be a lot of people that boycott him again. But I mean, I don't like when celebrities are let off or anybody are let off because of the money they have or the fame they have.
There was a lot of questions too. You know, social media, as soon as something happens, everybody's got a theory. And there was the one theory that the girl threw it. There's another theory that it was staged, that, you know, it was set up and all he did was walk up and throw it. But there's security. There's a security guard that they interviewed on TMZ. And let you hear his response to what happened. He was the one that had actually grabbed him when it happened.
Well, I was working the front door where everybody comes in at, and I wasn't checking IDs, I was checking bags. Seeing him came in with 2 bodyguards. At first, didn't know it was him because I wouldn't think he'll come in broader daylight like that. I thought, because we got a VIP section for famous people, so I didn't really think it was him. I know he looked like him, but he went straight to the rooftop. Probably about 30 minutes later, I had a call on my walkie-talkie. Somebody threw a chair off the rooftop. I almost hit a Metro car, so I went straight to the rooftop, and me and another security guard grabbed him, took him down the elevator, escorted him out to get to Metro. We brought 2 witnesses down. They talked to Metro about it.
What did you hear they said?
They said he did it and all that. They didn't know who Morgan was. They just described him how the lawyers dressed up as. And so then we went back and replayed the video camera footage and showed that he did it. And
I was going to ask about the footage because every bar downtown has 33 cameras on every
level.
Every level. There you go.
So it's definitely confirmed.
Ooh, Morgie.
What a bit like if Taylor Swift went down to Chiefs and threw a chair off, is the reaction going to be the same? Like, is it she's just having a good time, she's just out having fun, she drank a little too much, don't worry about it, she's done so much for this city? Is it the same response?
No, I think it'll be the same response.
Yeah.
I think because I think the city wants accountability. So I think what you take the fan perception away. And to me, it's a person, they did something wrong, you have to pay for it. I don't know what the city's going to do. I mean, it's you had 2 cops. I mean, a chair would paralyze someone
or kill,
or
significant head trauma.
So I think he's very childish. Now his ex-girlfriend or the baby mama just got married that weekend too.
She eloped.
So I don't know if he was like just out on a binge, but that's also him from obviously reports. I don't know him, but it's like obviously reports. That's who he is. So there's just got to be accountability. I don't care who it is. Taylor Swift, Garth Brooks.
Do you think he should do jail time?
If the law calls for that. Yeah.
I mean, if he's convicted on the charges,
I mean, felony. What do you do? What's a felony?
Well, I think that's multiple felonies, so he would definitely do some jail time.
Yeah.
But he'll get off. I was trying to find if there had been an incident of someone throwing a chair in Broadway or on Broadway. And there was, I think it was 3 or 4 years ago, a guy, same thing, threw a chair, hit a girl,
really?
Caused head trauma. I mean, she's not dead. She's able to walk, but and move around. But he ended up, they charged him initially, and then he ended up getting, it was kind of a bad behavior type charge, but it wasn't a felony. So there's a history of that happening, and then the charges being lowered for something less than a felony. So I think he'll get off. He'll end up making like a Good Morning America video where he's sorry. I will just tell you, I didn't mean to throw that chair. I know I've got a new tour starting soon, and I just wanted to promote it and stuff. So anybody got a drink for me?
He's young and rich, and
I like it. The thing is, I do like some of his music. I'm not taking away from his talent. I think he's made bad decisions consistently.
I think there needs to be a treatment program. I don't know consistently if somebody's going to make that many bad decisions not partying. So, that's one reason I stopped drinking, because I made bad decisions.
Yeah.
And not everybody does. Not everybody has to stop drinking. But I think he's a prime example, because it's very consistent. It's repetitive. It happens over and over again, and he may be fine with it. But when somebody's hurt, that's when he goes to jail for life. If somebody's killed, that's when he goes to jail for life. There was an instance downtown, a girl, when you used to still park on Broadway, a girl walked out of Robert's Western World right into traffic. And this guy, who was law school or med school at Vanderbilt. He was driving down Broadway. He was drunk, but she walked out between two cars out into the middle of the road, not in a crosswalk. He struck her and killed her and then drove off. He would not have been arrested had he not been drunk, because she just walked out drunkenly in the middle of the road and it wasn't a crosswalk. So it wasn't his fault. He had been drinking. So now he was pre-med, or he was in med school. Now he's in jail for life. That happened at Robert's Western World. Honky Tonk Central, a guy peed because, they open the doors and they have the balcony chain.
Oh, yes.
The railing there. So a guy peed on someone there. The bouncer saw it. They went up and got him. Again, peeing is a lot different than hurting someone, but he was arrested. There was, and this is just to kind of give you all an example of what happens on Broadway. There was a young kid here from Arizona. I believe it's where John Bon Jovi's bar is going. But anyway, before you get to that one, there's a gap between two buildings, and he thought he could jump it. He was underage drinking, and they caught him in that bar. He ran up the stairs to the rooftop to jump over to a new building and didn't make it. So he fell 3 stories to his death. And there was a guy doing a handstand also at another bar, and this one did result in a death. He was doing a handstand on one of those railings and fell off. And it was like a Tuesday night. They were here for a corporate event. That happened in 2016. Never made the news because they pay to cover it up.
Yeah.
So this is what happens on Broadway. This is literally every night. That's why I'm upset about it, because it could hurt someone. It could have hurt a cop or any pedestrian, but I also want someone to pay for their actions, because I think we should in everyday life.
I'd push back a little bit. It's not every day. I was looking up because I didn't know the crime statistics on Broadway. Some of the comments I was hearing about after this incident was like, oh, it happens all the time. People are throwing chairs. There's deaths. People are getting killed. It's not as crazy as people think. How often do you think a crime occurs on Broadway, Wes? If you had to guess, every how many days or months or years does a crime occur on Broadway?
I think a crime, through the definition of a crime, I think it happens every day. I think a major crime, people aren't dying every weekend, but I mean, there's assaults, there's a lot that happens.
No, every 10 days and 1 hour does a crime occur. And that's everything from assault. But it's not. But my point is, it's not as crazy as people think. Broadway. Broadway is super busy. It can be unsafe. But I didn't realize that. I thought crimes were happening like you did every day. But no, it's every 10 days and 1 hour. And then they give grades to areas of towns on how violent that area is. So A, B, C, D, E, or F. What do you think Broadway got on the
violent?
Not necessarily violent, but assaults, fights. Anything that's involving an arrest that involves an altercation, pickpocketing.
Oh, see, I want to say, I love Broadway. I still overall think it's a safe place. Crazy stuff happens down there. I'd still say, wait, is A safe? F is unsafe? Yes. I want to give it a B.
You're close. Broadway got a C grade when it comes to safety. It's in the 37th percentile, which means 63% of cities are safer.
Oh, so we want to be in the 90th percentile. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I could see that, because, I mean, you go to one bar in whatever town, like Macomb, Illinois, where I went to college, we had 6 bars. Here you have 30.
Yeah.
And they all have 3 levels. So more is going to happen. And I don't think it's like an unsafe place, but we've been down there. There's people that fight for no reason.
Oh, I always see a fight on Broadway.
I mean, that's why when you say crime, I'm like, well, it kind of is if they get arrested.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's so interesting.
Yeah. The chance of being a victim on Broadway, guys, is anywhere between 1 in 22 people and 1 in 37 people. So
I would rather it be like 1 in 10,000.
Yeah. But for reference, if we're a C, Bourbon Street in New Orleans, F.
Oh,
Times Square, New York City, D-.
Yeah, that's good.
So it's still safer. Still safer to go out on Broadway as long as you can miss flying objects from Morgan Wallen.
You can, and now there's got to be some parodies out there too.
Well,
there's so much on TikTok. I guess it's all over the world now. I don't know.
Well, let me see if I can rig one up real quick.
Last night I threw a chair across the bar and off the roof, and when it fell, almost hit 2 cops. Now I'm facing 1 to 15 years on 3 felonies. But that'll teach them other stupid chairs not to mess with me. Cause I'm 1-0 in chair fights.
I'm 1-0 in chair fights.
Get it? Boom.
Love it.
RCA, they're gonna be calling you.
I'm sure they will.
Dang it! Yeah, I just don't like when people do stupid stuff to just ruin a night for many people,
Yeah.
and that's ultimately what he could have done.
Yeah.
Thank God it did, and it was a Sunday night, so there was less people. There may have been 10,000 people down there.
Yeah.
You know, on any other given night, what is there, 25, 30,000?
It seems like a million. If you look down Broadway, you're just like, there's no way I can.
You can't move.
No, it's
Yeah.
like sardines.
And really, it's only 6 blocks.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's a lot of people in a small area. So thank the Lord. And you know, and when Morgan goes out, hat on, hood up, whatever, like people don't
He
know
looks
who he
like
is.
any other person.
Yeah, and that's what people on Broadway look like.
Yeah.
So
Everybody looks like Morgan Wallen.
it's interesting that they're like, yeah, that's the guy that did it, and didn't know who he was. Because if you have your hat pulled down and your hair flowing out of it, like that's in a flannel.
Oh,
That's
good.
that's every dude on Broadway.
Well, Morgan, I think you're a wonderful performer. I love some of your music. I just think you make really bad decisions sometimes, like all of us. And we'll see what happens. But
Look at us being compassionate. I still think he should do some time.
I do too.
Whatever the felony.
If you made me decide right now, I'm like, you have a history of drinking and doing. You can have a history of drinking, but never do anything wrong. And then okay, but this guy has a history here, so I think he needs a little bit of.
It also
He needs to learn a lesson.
Learn a lesson, like the good old days. Put a switch at him. But no, I think it also sets a precedent as well, right?
Yeah.
But you know, in a city where a lot of stars get away with stuff, it may or may not happen, but that's to be determined and something we can follow up with for sure.
Yes. And if you
Yes,
guys have
we
some
can.
feedback for us, if you got opinions, if you hate him, if you love him, if you think we're wrong, please reach out to us. We'd love to hear your feedback at 2bottlesdeep@gmail.com. You can hit us up on Instagram. You can call Wes at 615. Oh, never mind.
It's about something else. Yeah.
All right, babe. Well, I hope you have a good week.
You too.
And we'll see you next week. Love you, babe.
Bye, y'all. Love you, Phil.